So yesterday we heard how Lord Caitanya took sannyas and how after taking sannyas he came to visit the home of Advaita Acharya at Shantipur.
昨天我们讲述了长天马和他如何接受萨尼亚西的启迪，在接受萨尼亚西启迪之后，如何去到阿迪塔查亚在三地湖的家。
And then his mother came, and many devotees also came from Mayapur. They all came to see Lord Caitanya as a sannyasi.
然后沙琪妈妈，他的母亲沙琪妈妈，还有很多从玛雅普来的奉献者，都过来看他作为萨尼亚西的样子。
So it was arranged at Lord Chaitanya's mother's request that Lord Caitanya would go to stay in Jagannath Puri.
所以沙琪妈妈，就长天马和的母亲，她请求长天马布居住在加干纳普里。
Yeah, he's a sannyasi. He can't go home. Can't go home. His wife is at home, so he can't go there.
因为这位萨尼亚西他是不能回家的，因为他妻子在家里，所以他不能回家。
So he's going to Jagannath Puri, and he went with 4 devotees.
所以他去了加干纳普里，然后他和4个奉献者一起同行。
So we heard yesterday how on their way to Jagannath Puri, they came to a very nice temple.
昨天我们讲什么？在他去加干纳普里的路上，他如何去拜访了一个非常美的庙。
Right? Who remembers the name of the deity there?
大家还记得那个神像的名字叫什么吗？这个庙的神像的名字。
Anybody was here yesterday? You heard?
昨天听课的奉献者有谁还记得那个神像的名字叫什么？
我记得叫 Gopinath.
Yes, right. Gopinath. And what did he steal? What did the deity do? What did he steal?
这个神像做了什么？他偷了什么？
偷了天奶饭。
Right.
Sweet rice.
Yes. So the deity is called Kshira Chora Gopinath. If you go to visit, yeah, if we go there to Ramuna one day on the way to Jagannath Puri, if we stop there, we can also get some sweet rice. We can taste the sweet rice.
如果去到加干纳普里，如果哪天我们去加干纳普里，在路上我们要去到这个开普庙的话，我们可以品尝一下那里的甜奶饭。
All right. Different temples are famous for different kinds of prasadam.
不同的庙宇它有不同著名的prasadam。
What about in Beijing?
在北京的著名的prasadam是什么？
Jiaosa, is it? Jiaosa.
饺子，北京的饺子，包子。
Jiaosa Chora Gopinath. A deity stole the jiaosa.
饺子Chora Gopinath，偷饺子的Gopinath，偷饺子的Gopinath。
Or Manto Chora Gopinath.
Manto?
Manto. So, who told the pastime there? Who knew the pastime of the deity?
是谁讲述了这个神像的这样神秘呢？当时，谁知道了？ 昨天有谁还记得吗？是谁讲述了这个逍遥时光？
Who told the story? Who could have told it?
是谁讲述这个逍遥时光？各位，当就是喝牛奶的罗皮娜的那个逍遥时光是谁讲述的？
Nobody remember.
没有人记得啊。
Tai. Who could have told it? Just make a guess.
Is it Madhya Lila? No.
No.
不是曼达夫人讲述的这个逍遥时光。
They were telling the story of Madhavendra Puri, but who was telling? Madhavendra Puri was before Lord Caitanya. He was long before.
是他们讲述的曼达温特的普瑞关于曼达温特普瑞的这个逍遥时光，但是谁讲述的？曼达温特普瑞是在入讲禅泰玛哈布之前的，前天一个之前的。 told this story.
Yeah, Lord Caitanya told the story.
是的，是主Caitanya讲述了这个故事。
And who told Lord Caitanya? How did he know the story?
那主Caitanya他是如何知道这个故事的呢？他是从谁那儿听到的？
Ishvara Puri.
Yes, Ishvara Puri. Very good, yes.
非常好，是的，是 Ishvara Puri。
Who is Ishvara Puri? Who is he?
谁是 Ishvara Puri 呢？他是谁？
Caitanya the Guru Maharaj.
Yes, right. And how did Ishvara Puri know the story?
Ishvara Puri 他怎么知道这个故事的呢？
Madhavendra Puri 是他的 Guru.
Yes, right. 很好，非常好。
非常好，对的。
Madhavendra Puri was his guru, so they know Ishvara Puri knew about his guru's activities.
是的，Madhavendra Puri 是Ishvara Puri的灵性导师，所以他知道他灵性导师的那些活动。
Do you know any other disciples of Madhavendra Puri? Ishvara Puri is a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. Do you know any other disciples of Madhavendra Puri?
Ishvara Puri 他是 Madhavendra Puri 的一个门徒，你们还知道Madhavendra Puri 的其他的门徒吗？
Advaita Acharya.
Yes, very good, Advaita. Madhavendra Puri is the guru of Advaita. So they're all in the Madhva Sampradaya. Lord Caitanya took his initiation in this line from Madhva
所以
Acharya.
这段时间他也是 Madhavendra Puri 的门徒，主禅泰玛哈布他就在这个使徒传系当中得到了启迪。
So, okay, so after seeing the deity of Gopinath and tasting the sweet rice, then they're walking and they come to another place, they come to a town and they go to see the deity also there in the next town.
所以他们在见过这个神像之后，然后品尝了那里的甜奶饭之后，然后就去到下一个地方，去到下一个镇子上，在那里有另外一个庙宇。
Right? We heard about the Gopinath deity. Now we're going to see another deity in the town on the way to Jagannath Puri. It's in a town called Cuttack.
在去加格纳普瑞的路上呢，还有另外一个镇叫他那个镇子，然后那里有另外一个庙，另外一个神像。昨天我们听了勾迪拉的神像的相时光，然后今天我们来讲述他的故事。
So this temple Lord Caitanya is going to see now is also is a deity of Gopal.
这里这个神像也叫 Gopal。
And Gopal is very famous deity because he became a witness.
Gopal 是非常著名的一个神像，因为他成了见证人。
He became a witness for a wedding to take place.
他成为一个婚礼的见证人。
So this story is going to be told to us by Lord Nityananda.
这个故事呢是由主尼天南达来讲述的。
Because Lord Nityananda, before he came to meet Lord Caitanya, Lord Nityananda had travelled around India, all the holy places. He travelled with a sannyasi.
因为在主尼天南达来见主禅院之前呢，他在印度各个地方到处去各个圣地朝圣过。
So he came to see this deity called Shakshi Gopal. Shakshi means the witness.
所以他曾经来拜见过这个神像，这尊神像叫Sakshi Gopal。Sakshi 的意思是见证人。
So Nityananda Prabhu, he had heard the story from the local people when he was travelling around. The local people, they told him about the deity, the pastimes of the deity.
对，所以当主尼天南达在各处朝圣的时候，然后他从当地人那里听到了这个神像的相时光。
At this time, the deity, at the time of Lord Caitanya and Lord Nityananda, the deity was still in the town of Cuttack. But later on, then the deity was moved nearer to the Jagannath temple.
当时禅天妈妈去加纳普瑞的路上的时候，这个神像还在卡塔克，但是后来这个神像就被转移到了加纳普瑞，加纳庙。
At one point, they brought the deity into the temple. The deity of Gopal, Shakshi Gopal, was brought into the Jagannath temple, and he was staying in the Jagannath temple.
有一段时间，曾经勾帕神像被转移到了加纳的庙，就待在那里一段时间。
But then there was some disagreement between the two deities. Shakshi Gopal and Jagannath, they had some quarrel, and so they had to bring Gopal out, and they put a new temple. They built him a temple near to Jagannath Puri, but not in Jagannath Puri.
但是在这两个神像之间呀，主加格纳特和萨西勾帕这两个神像之间有一些分歧，有一些争吵。后来所以不得不把这个萨西勾帕神像又给它建了一个新的庙，在加格纳的不在加格纳普瑞，但是离那儿很近的一个地方。
Just like at our Jagannath Mandir in Rajpur here in Mayapur, there's Jagannath there, and when they put the Govardhan there, then there was some problem because Jagannath was saying this Govardhan Shila is eating all the offering. The pujari had a dream, and in the dream Jagannath was complaining that this Govardhan Shila is eating all the offering.
就像我们在玛雅湖的那个 Rajapur 那个加格纳特那个庙，曾经有一段时间，那个一个哥尔丹西瓦那个神像，那个在那儿的时候，在那发现这个哥尔丹西瓦神像把所有的供奉全吃掉了，然后他就普加里就在那梦中，然后听到那个加格纳的就向那个普加里抱怨说，哥尔丹西瓦这个神像吃了所有的供奉。
So then they decide, okay, we have to make a separate offering plate for the Govardhan Shila and a separate plate for Jagannath.
然后呢，他们就商量，就给加格纳特和这个高达希腊这个神像分开供奉，就是两个盘子。
So sometimes the deities, they have problems.
有时候神像之间他们也会争吵。
Okay, so the story about the Shakshi Gopal, how he became a witness, it tells about there were two brahmanas who were going to visit different holy places.
那这个多大神像他是如何成为见证人的呢？曾经有两个 brahmana， 他们一起去朝拜圣地。
One was a young man and the other was elderly man.
这两个 brahmana 一个是年轻人，一个是老人。
So the young man was helping the old man to go to all the places.
所以在这一路上呢，这年轻人他就一路上照顾这个老人们。
So they were both from South India, and they came up and they went first to Gaya, then they went to Kasi, then they went to Prayag.
然后他们两个人都是来自南印度，然后他们首先去到嘎亚，然后去到
Kasi,
Kasi， 然后去到Prayag，
and then finally they came to Mathura.
最后他们终于来到了 Mathura。
And they started to visit the 12 different forests of Vrindavan.
然后他们去朝拜了Vrindavan的12座森林。
And they went to Govardhan Hill, and they went round the Govardhan Hill.
然后他们绕到了哥尔丹山，然后从哥尔丹山又去到。
Then they came to the town of Vrindavan.
然后就去了Vrindavan的城镇。
So there's a place where in the village of Vrindavan, there's a Govinda temple.
然后在Vrindavan的一个村子里，有一个是Govinda神像。
But they were worshipping Gopal.
但他们也在崇拜Gopal神像。
And so they took bath in all the different places. There's many bathing places where you're supposed to take bath when you go on parikrama around Vrindavan.
然后他们就在各个圣地来沐浴啊。当我们在沐浴的朝拜的时候，都会在各个地方沐浴。
They took, especially in the river Yamuna, you go to Kesighat and have a bath there at Kesighat.
然后他们去到Kesighat，
Take bath there at the Kesighat.
他们在Kesighat沐浴。
And then also go to Kaliyaghat and take bath there at Kaliyaghat.
他们也去到Kaliyaghat，在Kaliyaghat也进行了沐浴。
It's very hot, very dry in Vrindavan. So it's nice to take bath in the Yamuna River, you get refreshed.
在Vrindavan是因为非常干燥的，非常热，所以在Yamuna河沐浴是很让人提神的。
So I feel very happy to go and take bath, go in the river.
所以去到正河沐浴是让人很惬意的事情。
And then when they came to see the deity, Gopal, then they were so happy, they thought, oh, such a beautiful deity, that they stayed there for 4 days.
然后他们就去到这个见到这Gopal神像的时候，他们看到神像是这么美，他们就非常开心。然后他们在那个地方一直整整待了4天的时间。
So the old man was very happy, to be very satisfied with the help he was getting from the young man.
对这个老年人呢，他对这个年轻人给他做的服务非常满意，被他取悦了。
And the old man was telling the young man that it's only by your kindness that I'm able to visit all these places.
然后这个老年人就对这个年轻人说：“由于你的仁慈，然后我才能够去到各个圣地来朝拜。”
He said, my own son, he doesn't come, he doesn't help me do this.
他说我自己的儿子他都没有来，他都不会为我做这些的。
But you're so kind that I'm not even feeling tired while I'm going on this parikrama with you.
他说但是由于你的仁慈，你是如此的仁慈，所以我在朝拜的过程当中，甚至都没有感觉到任何的劳累。
So he said, I want to show my gratitude to you. So I promise you to give you my daughter in charity. In other words, you take my daughter for a wife. You can marry my daughter. She can be your wife. But the young man said, oh, please, don't speak like this. This can be very dangerous for you. That this is very unusual. Because, you're an aristocratic man, you're the high-class family, and you're educated, and you're wealthy, but I'm not, I'm none of these things. Now, for marriage purposes, usually the family are very careful to select. The man should be equal to the woman. They should be at least equal in wealth and education and culture. People, when they marry their daughters, when they arrange their daughter's marriage, they want to make sure that the daughter will have good children. So they want to find a man who is suitably qualified to have good children. At least in the past, it was not. People did not marry on the basis of physical attraction, what we would call a love marriage. Yeah, we would call this a love marriage, or we may even call it a lust marriage, not love, but lust. So in the past, at least in India, the culture was the parents, the family would arrange the daughter's marriage to a suitable man who had to be qualified. We can see in America now, in the USA at least, there's many women there, highly educated. They go on for postgraduate courses and so on. But when they come to find a man, find a man who is also educated like that, very difficult. And many of them, they just have to marry a man who's not educated at all. who didn't even study at university.
我们看到在很多世界很多地方也至少尤其是在美国有一些女子她们就受过很好的教育，受过研究生的教育，但是在她就是毕业之后想要找对象的时候，找丈夫的时候，她找不到这种合适的对象，找不到这种受过很高教育的对象，所以他们就没办法，甚至就会找一个就完全没有受过教育的人做丈夫。
So this young man says to the old man, I'm not a suitable husband for your daughter. I'm not on her level.
然后这个年轻人就说，其实我不是你的，就是做你女儿丈夫的合适人选。
My only purpose in serving you was to please Krishna. I did it as a service to Krishna because you are also Krishna's devotee.
我服务你的唯一目的只是为了取悦 Krishna， 因为你是 Krishna 的奉献者。
And you're also a Brahmana, and I know Lord Krishna is very pleased when we serve the Brahmanas.
而且你也是一个婆罗门，奉献者 Krishna 会非常高兴，如果婆罗门得到服务的话。
And when Lord Krishna is pleased, then our devotional service will also improve a lot.
如果 Krishna 被取悦的话，那我们的奉献服务就会能够得到很大的提升。
But the old man said, he said, don't worry, I will give you my daughter. I have already decided this. You don't worry about anything.
老年人就说，你不要担心什么，我已经决定把我的女儿嫁给你了，所以你什么都不用担心的。
But the young man, he's also a Brahmana, but he's not educated, he's not rich, he's just a very poor Brahmana.
这个年轻人他也是个婆罗门，但是他并没有受过很好的教育，然后也没有什么钱，很贫穷。
So he said, the young man says to the old man, he said, your family, your wife and your sons and all your relatives, they will be very upset with you if you say like this to them.
这年轻人就告诉他，如果你的家人、你的儿子、你的妻子，还有你的其他的亲戚朋友，然后如果他们听到你这么跟他们说的话，他会很生气的。
And the young man tells about Rukmini, how Rukmini also wanted to marry Krishna, and her father, Maharaj Bhishmaka, he wanted his daughter to marry Krishna.
你们还记得，就是当Rukmini 她想嫁给 Krishna， 而且她的父亲 Bhishmaka 也想把她嫁给 Krishna 的时候。
But her brothers, they didn't want their sister to marry Krishna. They arranged their sister's marriage to Sishupa.
但是Rukmini 的哥哥Rukmini 他不想让他妹妹 Rukmini 嫁给 Krishna， 他想把她妹妹嫁给 Sishupa。
So there was a big fight. Krishna had to come and he had to steal Rukmini.
所以 Krishna 不得不去把 Rukmini 给偷走、绑架的。
But finally, Krishna defeated Rukmini's brothers, and he took Rukmini with him to Dwarka for his first wife.
后来 Krishna 就把 Rukmini 的哥哥打败，然后还是把 Rukmini 带走了，然后带到了 Dwarka， 成为他的第一个皇后。
So the old man says, my daughter is my property. If I choose to give her to you, nobody can stop me.
然后这个老年人就说，我的女儿是我的财产，如果我选择把她给你的话，那没有人能够阻挡我。
So he said, you don't have to have any doubt about this. You just agree what I'm saying.
他就告诉那年轻人说，你对此不必有任何的疑惑的，然后你只要接受我给说的就行了。
So the young Brahmana says, all right, if you're serious about this, he said, then let's go in front of Gopal, in front of the deity Gopal, and you tell there, in front of Gopal, let Gopal hear your promise.
然后这个年轻人就说，如果你已经这么决定的话，那好吧，那如果我们去到沟帕神像的面前，你在沟帕神像的面前，然后这么去说。
So they came in front of the deity, and the old man said to Gopal, he said, please witness, you be the witness that I'm giving my daughter to this boy.
然后他们就来到沟帕神像面前，这个老年人就说，对这个沟帕神像说，他说请见证，现在我要把我的女儿嫁给这个年轻人。
And the young boy also spoke to the deity and said, my dear Lord, you are my witness. If I have any problem with this later on, I may have to come to you to be the witness, to prove it, what has been said.
然后这年轻人也对这个沟帕神像说，他说我亲爱的主啊，然后现在你要做我的见证人，如果将来在这件事上有任何的问题的话，我要让你来做我的见证人。
So like these people, when they want to make some promise, they'll go in front of the deity. Just like when we take initiation, we make our vows in front of the deity. The deity is the witness.
所以就像在发下誓言的时候，人们都会来到神像面前，就像我们在接受启迪的时候，我们在神像面前发下启迪的誓言。
And sometimes also after a marriage, then the couple will also go in front of the deity and they will exchange garlands with each other. And in this way, they're recognizing each other as in a marital relationship.
所以在结婚的时候，像夫妻，他们也是会来到神像面前，然后这样在神像面前交换花环，然后这样举行婚礼。
So the deity is very important in the society for people and family and so on. If there's any dispute, then they come to the deity.
也是神像在社会中是非常重要的。如果人们之间有任何的争执的话，他们都会来到神像面前来解决这个争执。
So the two brahmanas, they made their promise. The old man made his promise in front of the deity, and then they went home.
然后这两个 brahmana， 这两个婆罗门呢，那个老年人他就在那个神像面前发下了誓言，做出了承诺，然后他们就回家在一起。
And the young man was serving the old man, just like the old man was his guru.
然后这个年轻人就一路服务这个老年人，就像这个老年人就像他的姑姑一样。
So when they got home, after some time, the old man became nervous, and he remembered what he had promised to the young man.
然后他们回到家之后呢，过了一段时间，这个老年人他就是变得非常的紧张，因为他记起了他向这个年轻人承诺的。
Because he knows, I made my promise in a holy place, in front of the deity. I have to keep my promise.
因为他知道，他说我在圣地，在神像的面前做出了这个承诺，所以我必须要履行我的承诺。
So the old man called all of his family and relatives and friends. He called them all to come, and then he announced to them what happened.
然后这个老年人呢，就把他的家人，把他的所有的家人都召集起来，然后向他们宣布，发生了什么。
He told them how he promised the young man that he could marry his daughter.
他告诉他的亲人们说，他已经承诺这个年轻人可以娶他们的女儿。
So when the family heard this, they were all shocked. They said, "Oh no, cannot."
然后当他家人听到这个消息的时候，他们都震惊了，他们就大声喊道：“不行，不行！”
The wife said, "If you give our daughter to this man, I will die. I'll kill myself."
他妻子就说：“如果你把我们的女儿给这个年轻人的话，嫁给这个年轻人的话，我会死的，我会自杀的。”
We will lose our position in society if we give our daughter to this low-class man.
如果我们把我们的女儿嫁给这个低阶层的人的话，我们就在社会上就是丧失我们的地位。
And people will joke about us and make fool of us.
然后人们都会嘲笑我们。
But the old man said, "Well, look, I've made a promise. I was in the pit on the holy place, and I made the promise."
但这个老年人就说：“我在圣地的时候已经做出了承诺，发下了誓言。”
So the family all said, "If you give our daughter away like this, we don't want anything more to do with you."
然后他的家人就说：“如果你把我们的女儿嫁给这个人的话，那我们就跟你没有任何关系了，断绝关系了。”
And his wife and son said, "And we will take poison and die."
然后他的妻子和儿子就说：“我们会服毒自杀的。”
And so the old man said, "Well, the young man will ask Gopal as a witness."
然后这个老年人就想，就说这个年轻人他会找gopa神像做证人的。
And so if the deity comes as a witness, then you have to give the daughter.
如果神像来做证人的话，那你必须把这个女儿嫁给这个人。
So the man's family, this old man's family, they're not very devoted people, and they don't understand the nature of the deity.
所以，因为这个老年人他的家人呢，并不是特别有奉爱心的人，所以他们无法理解神像的那种超然的本质。
So the old man's son said, "So the deity may be the witness, but the deity is far away. How can he come here?"
然后他们的这个老年人的儿子就说：“这个神像可能是见证人，但是这个神像远在很远的地方，他怎么可能到这里来呢？”
So you just have to say that you don't remember what you said.
你只需要告诉他说，你不记得发生的这些事情了就可以了。
You don't need to lie. Just say you don't remember what you said.
你不需要说谎，你只需要说你不记得了。
And the young man's son said, "I will take care of everything. I know how to deal with this man. I can argue with him."
然后我就知道，我把他交给我，我就知道怎么样来对付这个人了。
So the old man was helpless. He didn't know what to do. He just tried to pray to Gopal.
这个老年人呢，他就完全无助，他就只能向gopa神像祈祷。
He prayed to Gopal, I just want you to help me to keep my religious principles. I don't want to be a liar. I don't want to break my promise.
然后他就向gopa神像祈祷说：“他说我只请求你来保护我，能够遵守宗教原则。我不想成为一个说谎的。”
But at the same time, my family members are dying and they feel so bad about it. I don't want them to all die.
但是与此同时呢，我的家人对此事又是那么生气，所以他们就想要自杀，但是我又不想他们死。
So then the next day, the young man came to the old man's house, and he said, you promised to give your daughter in charity to me.
第二天呢，这个年轻人就来到了老年人的家里，告诉他，提醒他说你曾经承诺要把你的女儿嫁给我。
But now you're not saying anything. So what's happening?
但是你现在什么都没有说，到底发生了什么事？
So the old man, he didn't know what to say. He didn't say anything.
这个老年人他不知道该说什么，所以他就什么都没说。
But then the young man's son came, and he had a stick, and he was going to beat the young man, the young Brahmana.
然后这个老年人的儿子当时就拿了个棍子就出来了，他也想要来试图打这个年轻人。
He said, "You're a rascal. How can you marry my sister?"
就是你这个混账，你怎么能够娶我的妹妹呢？
You are not at all qualified to be a suitable husband for my sister.
你根本就配不上我的妹妹，不配做我妹妹的丈夫。
So when he saw the young man with the stick, the other Brahmana, he ran away. But the next day he came back. He came back with all the people from the village.
然后这年轻人看到这个老年人的儿子拿着棍子过来了，然后他就吓跑了。然后但是第二天呢，他就又回来了。他带了村里所有人一起给他来了。
The young Brahmana had told all the people in the village what happened, so they all came to see the old Brahmana and to ask him if it was true.
因为这个年轻人告诉村子里的人说这个发生了什么，然后所以村子的人都过来看这个老年人他到底怎么回事。
So all the people asked the old Brahmana, "Did you promise like this? Did you promise to give your daughter in charity?"
然后村里人就问这个老人说：“你是不是说了？是不是做出承诺要把你的女儿嫁给这个年轻人呢？”
Why are you not keeping your promise? If you give your word, you should keep your promise.
如果你为什么不履行自己的承诺呢？如果你发出了誓言，做出了承诺，你就应该履行自己的承诺。
So the old Brahmana says, "Oh, I don't remember what happened. I don't remember making a promise like that."
然后这个老年人就说：“我不记得我曾经做出这个承诺，我不记得了。”
So then the old Brahmana's son, who's not a devotee, he came and he began to speak.
然后这个老人的儿子，他就因为他不是封建的，然后他就开始说话。
And he said, "My father went to visit the holy places, and he took money with him. And this young man saw my father's money, and he stole it all from him."
然后他说：“我的父亲去朝圣的时候啊，带了很多的钱。这个年轻人他看到我父亲的钱，然后就偷了我父亲的钱。
And then he gave some intoxication to my father and made my father mad.
他给我父亲一些麻醉品，然后让我父亲像发疯了一样。
So he took all my father's money, and then he claimed that my father promised to give him his daughter in charity.
然后他就拿走了我父亲所有的钱，而且是声称我父亲向他承诺要把女儿嫁给他。
So just you could, and the young man said to all the people, he said, "Do you really think that this man is a suitable match for my daughter, for my sister?"
然后这个年轻人就说，向着所有村的人说：“你们看看，你们觉得这个年轻人是我妹妹的合适的就是丈夫的人选吗？”
So all the people, of course, they knew that this old man, his family is high class, and the young man, the young Brahmana, he's just a very poor family and no education and no money. So they agreed, it's not a very good match, not very.
所以 村里人他知道这个就是这个老人还有他的儿子，他们都是很高阶层的人，然后是很著名名为望族。但是这个年轻人呢，没有受过很好的教育，也不富有，所以其实并不是门当户对的。
So then the young Brahmana spoke. He said, this man's son is just speaking like this. He's lying. He just wants to try to get victory, and he's telling all these lies. It's never happened like that.
然后这年轻人就说，这个老人的儿子他在撒谎，他其实是事情的发生不是这个样子的。然后他就讲了事情的经过。
The old man was very satisfied with everything I did for him. I took care of him all the time, and he was very happy with my service.
然后因为我一直在照顾这个老人，所以他对我的服务非常的满意。
And I told him I was not a fit husband for his daughter, but he insisted.
但我曾经告诉他，我不是他女儿的合适的丈夫人选，但是他却坚持要把女儿嫁给我。
And again, he said, I'm giving you my daughter, you accept her.
他告诉我，我现在把女儿给你，你接受就好。
I told him his family and friends would never agree, but he said, no, she's my daughter, I can give you my daughter.
即便我的家人不同意，但是这是我的女儿。
And the young Brahmana said, I'm worried that you'll be able to keep your promise. If you don't keep your promise, it will be very bad for you.
然后对年轻人就说，你没法履行你的承诺了。如果你没法履行你的承诺，这对你是不好的。
But the old man said, no, I'm giving you, you must take her.
但是这个老人坚持说，我要把女儿给你，你一定要接受。
And so we both went in front of the Gopal deity, and we made it in front of the Gopal deity. He heard everything. He heard the Brahmana's promise to give the daughter to me in charity.
所以我们两个就来到了神像面前，在神像的面前，他承诺要把女儿嫁给我。
So at that time I told the Gopal deity that if there's any problem, I will ask you to be the witness.
然后当时我就曾经向那个高帕神像说，就是说如果有任何的问题发生的话，我就会来请你做我的见证人。
So everybody accepts the words of the Supreme Lord because the deity is the Supreme Lord. So whatever the Supreme Lord says, that's the final word. Nobody can argue with that.
所以每个人都会接受至尊主所说的话。所以神像和至尊主是没有区别，神像就是至尊主，所以没有人会，就每个人都会接受他说的话。
So then the old man, he said, yes, this is true actually. He said, it happened like that. He said, if Gopal comes here as a witness, I will certainly give my daughter to the young man.
这时候这个老人就说，事情的发生确实是这样的。如果勾画神像来做证明的话，我肯定会把我的女儿嫁给这个年轻人。
So then the young man, the old man, the old Brahmana's son, he said, yes, this is a very good settlement. This is a good agreement. Let Gopal come here and be the witness.
这个老人的儿子就说。这个决定很好，这个协议很好，让这个勾画神像来做证人。
And the old man thought that Lord Krishna is very merciful. If he can certainly come to prove that we made the promise.
所以这个老人就想，至尊主 Krishna 他是很仁慈的，如果他愿意的话，他肯定能来证明这件事情，他曾经做过这个承诺。
And the old man's son, who's an atheist, he thought, yeah, let Gopal come. He thought, of course, the deity's not going to come here. How is it possible the deity could come here?
这个他的儿子呢，这老人的儿子他是无神论的，所以他就想， 这个神像他怎么可能来呢？
So everything was written down, the agreement was written down on paper, and they wrote it in so that everybody knew what was supposed to happen, and nobody could argue anymore about it. So they wrote down on the paper that Gopal will come and be the witness.
所以他们就把这个就写在纸上，然后如果都把神像过来做见证人、做证人的话，就要把他女儿嫁给那个年轻人。
And so the old man, he was truthful, but he was just in a difficult situation because of the problem of his family.
其实这个老年人他是很诚实的，但是只是因为他的家人，所以他现在处在非常艰难的处境当中。
He didn't want to break his promise, but he just didn't want his family all to die.
他不想打破他的承诺，但是他也不想让他的家人去自杀。
So the young man thought, yeah, I will go back to Vrindavan. I will go back and ask Gopal to come and be the witness.
然后这个年轻人就说：“我会去回到文达门，我会让高帕神像来做证人。”
So the young man went back to Vrindavan on his own this time, and he went back to see the deity, and he got to Vrindavan, went to the deity Gopal, and offered his obeisances and told everything to the deity.
然后这一次，这个年轻人呢，他就独自一人又回到了文达门，然后来到了高帕神像面前，向高帕神像顶拜，然后告诉他所发生的一切。
So he spoke to the deity, just like we would speak to a person. He spoke to the deity. He said, you have to protect Brahminical culture, and you are very merciful.
当这个年轻人就对神像高帕神像说：“他说你非常仁慈，你是婆罗门文化的保护者。”
He said, I don't want to get this girl for a bride just for some sense gratification, but I want to keep the Brahmana's promise.
他说：“我并不想去得到那女孩子做妻子，只是为了感官享乐得到这样的一个妻子。但是我想去保护这个老人，不打破自己的承诺。”
If this Brahmana doesn't keep his promise, then it's very painful for me, because he promised me. So if he doesn't keep his promise, it will be very bad for him.
如果这个老婆罗门他不能就是遵守自己的诺言的话，因为他对我做出了承诺，对我来说是非常痛苦的一件事情。
Now, young Brahmana was a very pure devotee. He didn't want sense gratification. He just wanted to serve Krishna.
这个年轻的婆罗门，他其实是个非常纯粹的奉献者，所以他并不想感官享乐，他只是想去服务 Krishna。
And the old Brahmana was also a devotee, very devoted to Krishna.
这个老婆罗门，他也是个很纯粹的奉献者，他也只想去悦 Krishna。
So the young man spoke to the deity and said, so I want you to come as a witness that you're the only one, you know everything, we need you to come.
这个年轻人就告诉了神像说：“他说，所以你要来做证人，因为你是唯一的见证人，然后你知道所发生的一切，所以我们需要你来做证人。”
If you don't come to testify, to be the witness, then you become guilty of sin, because you know what happened, and it will be sinful on your part if you don't come to be the witness.
如果你不来做证人，不给提出证词的话，那你其实就是等于是在促使了这罪恶的发生，所以这样对你是不好的。
So the deity said to the man, he said, okay, my Brahman, he said, what you do, he said, you go home and then call a meeting of all the men. And in that meeting, you just remember me. Haribol, something wrong with your mic. Haribol?
Caitanya，你的网络有问题，要不然那托西戈比纳的，你接着跟咕噜翻译。你那还没有恢复，Caitanya。托西戈比纳的，你同时把麦打开吧，你们两个，要是他的网络不行的时候，你就补充一下。
哎不，他掉线了吧？
他的网络不好，他没掉线，但是他声音断断续续的没有。你接着翻译咕噜讲的，
刚才讲到哪儿了？
哦，那你是隔壁那的吗？
Caitanya，你的还是不行，你的还没有恢复，你要不然出去一下再进来，还是调整一下手机。
Are we ready?
对的，那个托西戈比纳的，你接着翻吧。
Okay, Guru Maharaj, you can continue.
Okay. So, Krishna is instructing, the deity Gopal is speaking to the young Brahmana in Vrindavan.
这个在文达文这个神像Gopa神像呢，就对这个年轻的 Brahmana 做了一个训示。
Right? Because the young Brahmana had come there to Vrindavan and he came to ask the deity to come and be the witness.
因为呢，这个年轻的 Brahmana 呢，他一直来到了文达文，想要去请神像去给他做见证。
So the deity said, what you do, he said, you go back and then you just, when you go back there, you just think of me and then I will come.
然后这个神像就对这个 Brahmana，年轻的 Brahmana 说呢，你现在先回去，然后等你回去之后呢，你就一直想着我，这样的话呢，我就会出现在那里。
But the young man was not satisfied.
但是呢，这个年轻的 Brahmana 对神像的这番话并不满足。
He said, no, he said, if you come there as the four-hand Vishnu form, nobody will believe you.
他说呢，即便是你以这个势必的威势的形体显现在那里，但是没有人会相信你。
You have to come as Gopal. You have to come in this form now. You have to come as you are.
你现在要以你的这个Gopa的形体去到那里，以你现在的这个形象去到那里。
And then when people see you in that form, then they will accept.
如果人们看到了你现在的这个Gopa的形体的话，他们才会相信。
But Gopal said, well, look, I'm a deity. I can't go walking from one place to another.
但是Gopa却说呢，我只不过是一个神像，我怎么能从一个地方走到另一个地方呢？
So the Brahmana said, well, you're speaking to me. Why can you not walk?
这个年轻的 Brahmana 就说呢，既然你都可以 向我说话，那你为什么不能走路呢？
You're not a statue. You're the son of Nanda Maharaj.
您根本不是一尊雕像，您就是 Nanda Maharaja 的儿子。
So for the sake of this old Brahmana, you have to do what you never did before. You have to come there.
所以呢，为了这个年迈的 Brahmana 的缘故呢，你得做一些您从来没有做过的事情。
So the deity was defeated. So the deity said, okay, I will walk behind you. You walk and I will just walk behind you.
所以呢，这个神像就同意了。好吧，那我会跟在你后面走，你在前面走，我在后面跟着你。
So the deity actually said they walked for 100 days to get back to their place.
所以这个神像呢，就一直就跟着走，实际上他走了100天。
So we should understand the deity in the temple is not a statue. It may be made of material elements, but it's not a statue.
所以呢，我们应该知道，这个庙宇里的神像，它不是一个雕塑，虽然它是用物质元素来做成的，但是呢，它不是一个雕塑。
Although just like the deity of Gopal appeared to be stone, but he was not stone. He's the son of Nanda Maharaj.
就好比这个Gopa的神像看起来是一个石头，但实际上它不是石头，它直接是 Nanda Maharaja 的儿子。
And the deity can behave just like Krishna himself. He can walk, he can talk, he can do everything.
所以这个神像呢，就和 Krishna 本人是一个。
So this way, the deity told the young Brahmana, he said, don't try to see me, don't turn around, you just walk, and you will hear my ankle bells. You will know that I'm following.
这个神像呢，就对这个年轻的 Brahma 呢，就说道：“你不要转过身来，试图来看我。我会一直跟在你后面。你听到我的这个脚铃的声音，你就会知道我在后面跟着你。
But if you turn and look at me, then I'll stay in that place. I won't move anymore.
但是如果你转过身来看我的话，我就会待在原地不动，我就不会再往前走了。”
And every day you have to cook 1 kilo of rice and offer it to me, and I will eat that rice and follow behind you.
你每天呢要烹饪1公斤的米饭，然后供奉给我吃，我就吃这个米饭，然后跟着你走。
So the next day, the Brahmana took permission from Gopal and began to walk, and Gopal followed.
第二天呢，这个年轻的 Brahma 呢，他就祈求得到 Gopa 的允许，开始启程，前往他自己的国家，然后 Gopa 就跟在他后面。
And the young Brahmana could hear the ankle bells behind him. He was very happy, and every day he would cook rice and Gopal would eat.
这个年轻的 Brahma 呢，他听到他身后的这个脚铃的叮当声，他感到非常的高兴。每天呢，他都会给 Gopa 供奉米饭。
And then gradually, after about 100 days, he came back to his own village.
在100天之后呢，他们就终于来到了他自己的村庄。
So he was thinking, I have to go and tell all the people that the witness has come.
他就在想呢，现在我要去告诉每一个人，我的见证人已经到了。
He thought if they didn't see the Gopal deity, they would not believe him.
如果他们没有看到这个 Gopa 的神像的话，他们是不会相信的。
But even if Gopal stays now where we are, no harm. It's near to my village.
但 但是如果 Gopa 就留在现在这个地方的话也没关系，因为这个地方离我的这个村庄已经很近了。
So he turned round, he looked back, and he saw the deity was standing there smiling.
所以呢，他想到这里，他就转过身看了这个神像，他就看到这个神像 Gopa 就站在那里，
So,
站在那里微笑。
and the deity said to the Brahman, he said, okay. He said, I will stay here, I'm not going to leave. You go to your home and tell the people.
然后这个神像就对 Brahmana 说道呢，我现在就会留在这里，不会离开。你现在可以回家去告诉每一个人了。
And the young man went to the top village, told everybody Gopal was come. People were amazed, they were so surprised. Oh, Gopal has actually come. They all came to see Gopal.
然后这个年轻的 Brahmana 呢，就把这个消息告诉给了所有人，告诉人们这个 Gopa 已经到来的这个消息。人们听说这个消息呢，都感到很惊讶，就连忙跑去看这个 Gopa 的神像。
And when the people saw the beauty, how Gopal was so beautiful, and they heard how Gopal had walked all the way there, they were so surprised.
当人们看到这个 Gopa 美丽的形象，并且得知了这个 Gopa 他是一路走着来到了他们的村庄，人们都感到非常的惊讶。
And the old Brahmana came, and he came and also fell in front of Gopal. He's so happy.
这个年老的 Brahmana 听说这一消息呢，他也前来看这个 Gopa 的神像，他向 Gopa 神像致以礼拜，他感到非常的高兴。
So then all the town people came, and Gopal was the witness that he'd seen the Brahmana promise to give his daughter to the young Brahmana.
所以呢，这个就当着村庄里所有人的面呢，这个主 Gopa 就作证，这个年老的 Brahmana 把他的女儿布置给了这位年轻的 Brahmana。
So after the marriage was performed, then the deity told the Brahmanas, the young Brahmana and the old Brahmana, he said, you two Brahmanas are my eternal servants, birth after birth.
在这个婚礼举行之后呢，这个神像就对两位 Brahmana 说：“你们两个 Brahmana 生生世世都是我永恒的仆人。”
Yeah, they were Nitya Siddha devotees. They were eternal devotees. So they were never conditioned.
这个Nitya Siddha 就是指永恒完美的这个奉献者。
And you can see, although they're both Nitya Siddhas, one was materially opulent and the other was not. But they were both Nitya Siddhas.
这个虽然他们两个人都是尼卡西达，都是永恒完美的奉献者，但是呢，其中一个在物质上很富有，但是另外一个却很贫穷。
So the Lord told the deity told them, I have become very pleased by your truthfulness. It's very good that you're both so truthful. He said, now you can ask a benediction.
这个神像就对这两位 Brahmana 说到呢，我对你们两个人的这个真诚感到非常的满意，你们都很诚实，所以现在你们可以向我要一个祝福。
So the Brahmanas begged the deity, said, please stay here so that people all over the world will know how you are very merciful to your servants.
然后这两位 Brahmana 就说呢，请您留在这里，这样的话，全世界的人们都将知道您对您的仆人有多么仁慈。
So Gopal agreed, he stayed there, and the two Brahmanas became his servants, and many people would come to see the deity.
所以说呢，就这样主 Gopa 就留了下来，然后这两个 Brahmana 呢就服务这个神像。当人们听说了这个事情之后呢，都前来看 Gopa。
And even the king heard about the story, and he also came to see the deity, and he was very happy. And he built a big temple for the deity.
甚至这个国家的国王听说了这个故事之后呢，他都感到非常的高兴，于是为这个神像建了一座很好的庙宇。
So the deity stayed there in that place for a long time.
所以这个神像呢，就在那里留了很长的一段时间。
But then there was a fight between another king, the king of Puri, and this king, and they had a fight, and the king of Puri won, and he took that deity of Gopal and he brought it to Puri.
然后呢，后来呢就发生了一场战争，就是这个普瑞的国王他赢得了这个战争，所以呢他就把这个神像转移到了这个普瑞。
So the king of Puri, he's a great devotee, so he was happy to get the deity of Gopal. He asked the deity of Gopal, please come to my kingdom. So he brought Gopal to Puri.
这个普瑞的这个国王呢是一名奉献者，他就很喜欢这个神像，他就想把这个神像请到他自己的国家。
So they had the worship of the Gopal deity going on. They put the deity was put in the other town of Katak.
所以呢，他们就开始崇拜这个神像，他们把这个神像安置在了卡塔克这个地方。
And the queen of Puri, she went to see the deity of Gopal, and she brought many ornaments to give to the deity.
这个国王的这个妻子，那个王后呢，她也去卡塔克去看这个神像，并且呢为这个神像带了很多的金银首饰。
And she had a very valuable pearl, and she wanted to give it to the deity for a nose ring.
这个王后呢有一颗非常珍贵的这个珍珠，她想就把这个珍珠送给勾法神像。
And she thought, if there's a hole in the deity's nose, then I could put the pearl there. It would be good to give to the deity.
这个王后就在想呢，如果这个神像的鼻子上有一个洞的话，我就可以把这个珍珠送给他了，这样的话会很美。
So in her dream, when that night, the queen, when she had a dream, in the dream Gopal spoke to her and told her, said, when I was a child, my mother made a hole in my nose, and you can put your pearl there.
在当天晚上呢，这个王后就做了一个梦，在梦里面，勾帕就对她说了一番话。她说到呢，在我小时候的时候，我母亲在我鼻子上弄了一个洞，你可以在那里安放一颗珍珠。
So the next day the king went with the queen and they brought the pearl. They went to see the deity and they saw there was a hole in the nose of the deity and they put the pearl there.
所以第二天呢，这个国王和王后就一起去看这个神像。他们看到这个神像的鼻子上有一个洞，所以他们就在这个就给神像戴了一颗珍珠。
So this story was all told by Lord Nityananda, and Lord Caitanya is very happy to hear about this wedding. Now,
这个故事呢是由主尼乔南达法布所讲述的。卡坦雅听到这个故事的时候，他感到非常的高兴。他聆听到这个勾帕见证婚礼的这个故事，感到非常的高兴。
Lord Caitanya is a sannyasi, but still he's happy to hear this about the marriage. He's happy to hear the story of the wedding.
虽然卡坦雅是一个萨尼亚喜，是一个托钵生，但是呢，他听说这个婚礼的故事的时候，也感到非常的高兴。
Because this wedding is not just some karma kandi, it's not just some material, ritualistic wedding for sense gratification, some man or woman, but it's a very spiritual, religious ceremony.
这个婚礼呢，它并不是属于卡玛康达，就是说，有男女之间的这种感官享乐的这种婚礼，而是它是一种灵性的宗教仪式。
Yeah, usually if there's a wedding, we'll think, oh no, I don't want to go there, I don't want to be at the wedding, because it's just all sense gratification, and people eat a lot, and they joke a lot, and it's not very nice association, not very spiritual atmosphere.
有的时候呢，就是如果别人就邀请我们去参加婚礼的话，有的时候我们不想去参加，因为我们会觉得那只不过是一些感官享乐，人们在那里吃吃喝喝，相互打趣啊，都是一些物质的活动，没有什么灵性的氛围。
But we see this wedding, Lord Caitanya, he's sitting hearing Lord Nityananda tell the story. He's very happy to hear the pastime because it's a very spiritual story.
但是呢，在这里我们看到这个主塔坦雅非常高兴的在聆听主尼帕兰达法布讲述这个婚礼的故事，因为这个故事呢是灵性的。
It's nothing. Yeah, the marriage of the man giving his daughter in marriage is not material. It's a spiritual activity. The man wants to keep his religious principles.
这个年老的 Brahmana 呢，想要把他的女儿就是嫁给这个年轻的Brahmana， 实际上这并不是物质的活动，而是灵性的一个宗教性的这个活动。
And we see how much
是符合宗教原则的活动。
We see how Lord Krishna, in the form of the deity, how much he is concerned for the Brahmanas to keep their truthfulness.
我们看到这个 Krishna， 他作为Gopa神像的这个形式，他非常的在意如何能够保证这个 Brahmana 能够信守他们的宗教的这个誓言。
So much so that the deity came walking 100 days.
这个神像，这个Gopa神像，他是如此的在意，以至于他走了100天。来跟着这个 Brahmana 来到他的村庄。
Okay, are there any questions?
看大家现在有什么问题吗
Anybody has any questions?
Yes, there are questions.
Okay.
苏布利瑞塔波问：顶拜古鲁玛哈拉吉，顶拜翻译和奉献者们。问题一：祭司在梦中见到主的显现，这是不是意味着这位祭司已经达到某种程度的完美 ？The first question is from Subudhi Roy Prabhu that the pujari seeing the Lord's appearance in his dream. Does that mean that this pujari has achieved some degree of perfection?
Which pujari?
The pujari who dreamed the Lord in his dream.
Oh, that's about yesterday's story, right?
苏布利帕布，您指的是昨天的那个祭司吗？在梦中见到主的显现的。
Anyway, yeah, if the pujari dreams about Krishna, yeah, it means pujari is a very advanced devotee, pure devotee.
是的，如果这个普加瑞能够梦见主的话，他说明他是一个很进步的奉献者，他是纯粹的。
Krishna was coming in his dream and instructing him.
Krishna 呢来到他的梦中，然后在梦中训斥他。
Yeah, we heard yesterday how the pujari had the dream that Krishna had stolen the pot of milk. So the pujari got up and took a bath and then went into the altar and found the pot. And then he wiped the floor and then he came out.
昨天我们听到了这个神像呢，在这个普加瑞的梦中显现，然后这个普加瑞醒来之后呢，他就沐浴，然后进入到神像房，拿出了这个甜奶饭的罐子。
And today we're hearing about the two brahmanas, the young and the old brahmana, and how they speak to the deity, and how they come and talk to the deity and make their promise in front of the deity.
然后今天呢，我们也听说了这两位brahmana， 他们向这个在神像面前许下承诺，而且呢，他们在跟神像进行这个对话。
So when we do initiations, we like to have deities also present, and you make your vow in front of the deities.
所以当我们启迪的时候呢，最好这个有神像在这个现场做这个见证，我们会在这个神像面前发下誓言。
Deity is a witness.
这个神像作为见证人。
If you don't chant your rounds, we'll have Krishna come as a witness to say you promised.
这个如果你没有念诵的话呢，我们会把 Krishna 叫来做见证，看看你是不是真的在念诵。
Okay, any other question?
Yes. 在圣地的显得很信心坚定，但是回到家中之后却难以持，是不是因为过于热心？对于我而言，是否应该小心在圣地许下一些有点做到的承诺？如果许下一些承诺，如何长时间维系自己的承诺？ So the second question is, the old brahmana is confident, make promise in inland, but when he come to home, he cannot persist his promise. Is that because he is too much enthusiastic? For us, shall we be careful that the promise we make in the Holy Land, if we make some vows, how to keep our vows for a long time?
Well, if you make a vow, you should be able to keep it. Don't make a vow unless you can keep it.
这个，如果你许下一些承诺的话，这个承诺一定是你能够去兑现的。如果不能够兑现的话，你最好别许下这样的承诺。
You want to make the vow, it's for lifetime. It's not just for a short time, it's for life.
而且你许下的这个承诺呢，应该是你终身要去遵守的承诺，而不是说仅仅这一个短暂的。
Yeah. I remember one devotee was getting initiation and they came and they brought very nice beads. I said, oh, these are very nice beads. And they said, yes, well, these are for life. I'm going to be using them for the rest of my life. So I want to have nice beads to chant.
Sorry, I didn't get.
One devotee came with very nice beads at the time of their initiation.
OK， 就是有一个奉献者，他在启迪的时候呢，他就得到一串很好的念珠。
So I said, oh, these beads are very nice. And they said, yes, well, I'm going to use them for the rest of my life. Every day I have to chant.
然后呢，他就说呢，这个念珠是非常好的念珠。我的余生的每一天呢，我都要用这个念珠来念诵。
So this is right. We make a vow, it's for life.
所以这是正确的。我们发下的这个誓言，我们的这个承诺是终其一生的。
Okay, any other question?
Yes，潘查达的法部问，非常咕噜奉献者，哪种级别的奉献者可以和神像交流说话？So the question is from Panta Padva Prabhu. which level of devotee can speak to the deity directly?
Every devotee can speak to the deity directly.
每一位奉献者都可以直接和神像说话交流。
Deity is there for us to speak to him. We should speak to him.
神像在那里，我们就是可以和他说话的，可以和他去进行交流的。
When I was a new devotee, I remember I joined the movement. We had deities. We had the deity, and we had every Sunday, every devotee had to take turns to sit in front of the deity and talk to the deity and tell the deity what service we're doing, make a report.
就是我记得当我还是一个新奉献者的时候呢，我刚加入这个非常自觉运动的时候呢，我们有一个神像，然后每到周日的时候呢，我们这些奉献者就会轮流的来到神像面前去和神像说话，就是向神像汇报一些我们做了什么样的服务，就是这样向神像汇报。
So there's no restriction about who can talk to the deities. Everyone can talk to the deities.
所以没有这样的限制，不是说只有谁才可以跟神像说话，每一个人都可以跟神像说话。
Any other question?
Yes. Krishna Balarama Das 顶拜 Guru Maharaja， 我们无法兑现对奉献者的承诺，我们不能兑现对灵性导师的承诺，我们不能兑现对神像的誓言，该怎么办？Obeisance to Guru Maharaj. We cannot keep our promise to the devotees, cannot keep our promise to the spiritual master, cannot keep our vows to the deities. What shall I do?
Well, we have to try harder. Keep trying.
所以你要更加的努力，你要继续努力，
Don't give up.
不要放弃。
You can do it. If you just keep trying, Krishna will give you the ability.
所以，只要你一直不断的去努力的话，你 Krishna 会给你这个能力，你只需要继续做。
We say failure is the pillar of success. I don't know if you can translate it.
我们中国有句古话，失败是成功之母。
So, we have to keep trying. You know, all devotees, we all have these challenges in our devotional service.
所以呢，我们要继续不断的努力。我们知道，我们所有的奉献者在我们的奉献服务当中，都会多多少少的遇到挑战。
But we hope that gradually you can become more successful and you can do better. In the beginning, this is difficult.
但是呢，我们希望就是逐渐的你会取得成功，你会做得越来越好。在刚开始的时候，虽然有一点困难。
But Krishna is very merciful. And we have to take help from Krishna.
但是 Krishna 是非常仁慈的，我们要信守我们对 Krishna 的承诺。
We should regret that we're very fallen.
我们应该忏悔，我们承认我们很堕落。
And we should pray that we can give up this fallen condition, make some spiritual progress.
然后呢，我们就像 Krishna 祈祷，我们可以放弃我们这种堕落的状态，然后在灵性的生活当中取得进步。Krishna Balaram Das is saying, "Thank you, Maharaj."
Okay. Okay. Any other question?
大 大家还有其他的问题吗？ No questions.
No more questions?
No more.
Okay, so we'll just continue. There's just a little bit more in this chapter. We can just go on for a little bit, right?
然后关于这个章节，我们可以继续再多讲一些。
So Lord Chaitanya was sitting there in front of the Gopal deity, and the devotees could see that Lord Chaitanya and the deity of Gopal, they were actually the same.
主查泰亚马哈布坐在勾帕神像面前，所有的奉献者们看到主查泰亚马哈布和勾帕神像实际上是一个人。
They both had the same complexion, the golden color.
他们有着同样的肤色，他们的肤色都是金黄色的。
And they had big, powerful bodies, strong bodies.
他们都拥有强健的身体。
And they were both dressed in the saffron cloth.
他们两个人都穿着藏红花色的衣服。
And they both had eyes, lotus eyes, and they were effulgent.
他们两个人都有着棉花般的眼睛，而且都散发出辉煌的光灿。
And both their faces were like the moon.
他们两个人的脸都好似满月一般。
So Lord Nityananda, he saw how Lord Chaitanya looked like the Gopal deity. He began to smile, seeing the similarity.
当尼迦南达帕布看到这个勾帕神像和主查泰亚马哈帕布极为相似的这个时候，他就开始微笑了。
So then they're on their way to go to Jagannath Puri. They come to Bhubaneswar.
在他们前往这个加格纳普瑞的路程当中，在中途他们来到了布巴雷斯瓦。
And they came to the place where there's some river, and Lord Chaitanya had given his sannyasi rod, the danda, to Lord Nityananda to carry for him.
然后呢，他们就来到了一条河边，在这里呢，主查坦雅把他的三亚喜棍交给了主尼塔兰达。
Lord Chaitanya went to see the temple of Lord Shiva, and Lord Nityananda was carrying the sannyasi rod of Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya had gone inside the Shiva temple. At that time, Lord Nityananda broke the sannyasi rod into 3 pieces.
然后呢，这个主尼塔兰达主塔坦雅马法布呢，他就去了这个主西瓦的庙宇。 这个主尼塔兰达呢，就拿着他的萨利亚喜棍，当这个主塔代马哈法布去看这个西瓦庙的时候呢，这个尼塔兰达就把他的萨利亚喜棍给摔成了3节。
So, when he broke it in 3 pieces, then Lord Nityananda threw the 3 pieces into the river that was there.
这个主尼塔兰达呢，就把 这个萨利亚喜棍折成了3节，然后扔到了这个河里面。
So why did Lord Nityananda break that sannyasi rod of Lord Chaitanya?
主尼塔兰达为什么会把主查坦雅的这个萨利亚喜棍折成3节呢？
One thing is, Lord Chaitanya had taken sannyas in the line of the Mayavadi, in the line of Shankaracharya. So they give the ekadanda, they only give 1 rod. Not like the Vaishnava, they have a tridandi, they have 3 rods. But in the Lord Chaitanya, he took sannyas in the Mayavadi line, they only give 1 rod, ekadanda. So he broke it into 3 to make it a tridandi.
其中一个原因呢，是因为主柴坦雅他接受萨尼亚西的时候，他是在玛雅瓦底，也就是香卡查雅的这个使徒传记当中接受的萨尼亚西的启迪。那么在这个玛雅瓦底传记当中接受萨尼亚西启迪的时候呢，他得到的是 A 卡当地，也就是一个棍子，并不像外斯纳玛中那样，外斯纳玛中它是3根棍子，所以说主尼迦曼达呢就把这1根棍子折成了3节，这样的话就把它的这个1根棍子变成了3个棍子。
So the danda, the sannyasi rod, is usually carried by the sannyasis who are on the beginning platform.
这个当达，也就是这个萨尼亚西棍，通常是那些刚刚进阶萨尼亚斯阶层的人所携带的。
But when they become paramahamsa, when they become the topmost sannyasi, then they don't need the sannyasi rod.
但是呢，如果这个萨尼亚西他已经达到了 Paramahamsa 的层面的话，他就不再需要这个萨尼亚西棍了。
So Lord Nityananda, he didn't think Lord Caitanya needed to have a sannyasi rod.
所以呢，这个主尼迦南达不认为主柴坦雅需要萨尼亚西棍。
Because he knows Lord Caitanya is the Supreme Lord, Krishna. He doesn't need to take sannyas.
Sorry, I didn't get.
Lord Caitanya is the Supreme Lord. He does not need to take sannyas.
主柴坦雅他是至尊主 Krishna 本人，他并不需要当萨尼亚西。
So he did not think Lord Caitanya has to wait to become a Paramahamsa.
这个主尼迦南达并不觉得主柴坦雅需要等待一段时间才能成为 Paramahamsa。
He thought Lord Caitanya is already on the topmost platform.
他认为主柴坦雅已经处在最高的层面了，
So he doesn't need to carry the sannyasi rod.
所以他根本不需要拿着这个萨尼亚西棍。
So he broke it and threw it away.
所以尼迦南达就把这个棍子折成了3节，然后扔进河里了。
So Lord Caitanya didn't know immediately.
但是刚开始的时候的主柴坦雅并不知道。
But after some time, Lord Caitanya asked, "Where's my sannyasi rod?"
而是过了一会之后呢，这个主柴坦雅就问尼迦南达，这个我的萨尼亚西棍在哪里？
And they were having kirtan and they were dancing and chanting as they go along the road, walking to the temple of Jagannath Puri.
他们呢就一路唱着跳着，一路歌唱，这样走向加格纳普里。
And Lord Caitanya was feeling ecstasy. They could see the temple of Puri in the distance. They could see it coming closer. So they were becoming more and more ecstatic.
这个主柴坦雅呢，他正沉浸在这个狂喜当中。他从远处可以看到这个加格纳普里的那个庙宇，随着这个庙宇越来越近，他的狂喜也越来越增加了。
And so at one point then Lord Caitanya came back to external consciousness and he said, "Give me my danda, give me my sannyasi rod."
就这样走了一段时间之后呢，这个主柴坦雅他好像恢复了外在的知觉，然后他就开始说，请把我的当打，请把我的这个萨尼亚西棍还给我。
So Lord Nityananda told him, "Oh, it's broken. It was broken into 3 pieces."
然后尼迦南达帕布就回答说呢，你的萨尼亚西棍已经被我折成3节了。
You don't remember? He said, "We were doing kirtan and you jumped up and you fell down and I caught you and we landed on the danda and it broke."
他就说呢，反正你不记得了，就是我们在狂喜的歌唱的时候呢，我们一起摔倒在这个棍子上，把这个棍子压断了。
Yeah, our weight was too much for the danda, so it broke into pieces. I don't know where they are.
所以这个棍子呢，它已经摔成碎片了，我不知道他们现在在哪里。
And then Lord Nityananda said, it's certainly my offense that is broken, so you can punish me as you like.
所以这个尼迦南达法布就说呢，一定是因为我的冒犯，所以你的棍子才断的。现在呢，你可以如你所愿的惩罚我。
So Lord Caitanya was a bit angry and sad also to hear this.
对，主查丹雅听到这番话呢，他感到有一点愤怒，有一点悲伤。
Said, you brought me here. The only possession which I had was that sannyasi rod. You did not keep it.
他说到呢，你们把我带到这里，我唯一的财产就是那根棍子，然而你们却没有保护好它。
So I said, now I don't want to go with you to Jagannath Puri. He said, you can go before me, or I will go before you, but I'm not going with you. We'll have to separate.
所以呢，他就说，我现在不和你们一起去加格纳普瑞了，要么你们先走，要么我先走，反正我们不会一起走了，我们单独行动。
So Makunda told Lord Caitanya, then you go first, we will come behind you. We shall not go with you. You go alone.
所以姆昆达达塔就说到呢，您走在前面，我们其他的人呢就跟在你后面，我们不和您一起走，您先走吧。
So Lord Caitanya walked very quickly and he ran off to Jagannath Puri.
所以就这样呢，这个彩塔亚马哈法布他就非常快的奔跑的跑向加格纳普里。
So devotees were all puzzled. Why did Lord Nityananda break the sannyasi rod? And why did Lord Caitanya become angry?
出现者们不明白为什么尼迦南达法布把这个棍子折断了，他们也不明白为什么彩塔亚马哈法布生气了。
So it's a very deep pastime. Not everyone can understand the significance, the meaning behind this.
这是一个非常深奥的逍遥时光，不是每个人都能够理解这个事情的。
You have to have faith in Lord Caitanya and Lord Nityananda to understand.
要理解这个逍遥时光的话，我们必须对主彩塔亚和主尼迦南达有坚定的心情。
So there are 4 points about the story of Shakshi Gopal.
对于这个沙奇沟帕的故事呢，有4个要点。
First of all, that the deity is Satchidananda Vigraha. It's not material, it's eternal, full of bliss and knowledge.
首先呢，这个神像它是沙奇安南达维瓜哈，它并不是物质的。这个神像它是永恒、充满知识、极乐和全知的。
And then second point is, the deity is transcendental. It's not subject to any kind of material rules or regulations.
第二点呢，这个神像它是完全超然的，受这种物质的规范原则的这个限制。
And if one is a Brahmana, third thing, if one is a Brahmana, he has to follow the regulative principles very carefully.
然后呢，第3点就是说，如果你是一个 Brahman 一个婆罗门的话，那你就必须要非常小心的去遵守规范守则。
And finally, Lord Krishna is very dear to the cows and the Brahmanas.
那第4点呢，就是主 Krishna 对于母牛和 Brahman 是非常亲切的。
And the devotees are all protected by Krishna.
所有的奉献者都在主 Krishna 的庇护之下。
And such a devotee is a Brahmana. One who is protected by Krishna is a Brahmana.
一个受到就 Krishna 庇护的人呢，是一位 Brahmana。
Okay, so that's the story. We'll finish here today.
所以这就是我们今天所讲述的故事。
Is there any final question?
大家现在还有什么问题吗？No question at present.
Okay. So thank you very much. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu ki.
在
Srila Prabhupada ki.
在
Go back to Vrinda ki.
在
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna。
感恩 Gurudev 的仁慈讲课。
Hare Krishna，感恩 Guru。Hare Krishna。
Krishna。